Good morning. Today I will be covering chapter 21 and 22 of Deuteronomy, and then the notes. Of both of those chapters. Let's get started. We have part 5 now of part B, and it's going to be the laws for human relationships. And in chapter 21, and we have atonement for an unsolved murder. If someone is found slain, lying in a field, in the land the Lord your God is giving you to possess, and it is not known who the killer was, your elders and judges shall go out and measure the distance from the body to the neighboring towns. Then the elders of the town nearest the body shall take a heifer that has never been worked and has never worn a yoke, and lead it down to a valley that has not been plowed or planted, and where there is a flowing stream. There in the valley they are to break the heifer's neck. The Levitical priest shall step forward, and for the Lord your God has chosen them to minister and to pronounce blessings in the name of the Lord, and to decide all cases of dispute and assault. Then all the elders of the town nearest the body shall wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken in the valley. And they shall declare, Our hands did not shed this blood, nor did our eyes see it done, except this atonement for your people Israel, whom you have redeemed. Lord, and do not hold your people guilty of the blood of an innocent person. Then the bloodshed will be atoned for, and you will have purged from yourselves the guilt of shedding innocent blood, since you have done what is right in the eyes of the Lord. Next we have marrying a captive woman. When you go to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God delivers them into your hands, and you take captives. If you notice among the captives a beautiful woman, and are attracted to her, you may take her as your wife. Bring her into your home and have her shave her head, trim her nails, and put aside the clothes she was wearing when captured. After she has lived in your house and mourned her father and mother for a full month, then you may go to her and be her husband, she shall be your wife. If you are not pleased with her, let her go wherever she wishes. You must not sell her or treat her as a slave, since you have dishonored her. Now we have the right of the firstborn. If a man has 2 wives, and he loves one but not the other, and both bear him sons, but the firstborn is the son of the wife he does not love, when he wills his property to his sons, he must not give the rights of the firstborn to the son of the wife he loves, in preference to his actual firstborn, the son of the wife he does not love. He must acknowledge the son of his unloved wife as the firstborn, by giving him a double share of all he has. That son is the first sign of his father's strength. The right to the firstborn belongs to him. And lastly, we have a rebellious son. If someone has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not obey his father and mother, and will not listen to them when they discipline him, his father and mother shall take hold of him and bring him to the elders at the gate of his town. They shall say to the elders, This son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Then all the men of his town are to stone him to death. You must purge the evil from among you. All Israel will hear of it and be afraid. And that is the end of chapter 21. Now it's time for the notes. And we only have two notes. Two little sections of notes for chapter 21. And first up will be from verse 1 to verse 9. And that's all about atonement for an unsolved murder. So basically what to do, who's to take charge of it, and what they should do. And it says, when a crime was committed and the criminal got away, the whole community was held responsible. God was pointing to the need for the whole community to feel a keen sense of responsibility for what was going on around them. By implication, there we go. This could also point to the responsibility of communities to correct any situations that were potentially harmful, physically, socially, or morally. In much the same way today, if a city has a dangerous intersection and there's a car accident there, the community may be held responsible for damages and repairs. This sort of community responsibility has its roots in the laws God gave to Israel, laws ultimately upheld by the law of love. And that is from Matthew chapter 22, verse 37 to 39, about the laws being upheld by the law of love. And that's simply like, when you love the Lord, you're going to follow his laws, his rules. And when you love your parents, you obey and follow their rules as well. So, their laws. So, when you have that love for people, you're going to follow what they say and what they tell you to do. All right, next is chapter 22, and we have various laws, and technically this does start at the end of chapter 21, but the rest of it goes into chapter 22, so we're just going to cover it here in chapter 22 in this section. So so like I said, various laws under chapter 22. If someone guilty of a capital offense is put to death and their body is exposed on a pole, you must not leave the body hanging on the pole overnight. Be sure to bury it that same day, because anyone who is hung on a pole is under God's curse. You must not desecrate the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance. If you see your fellow Israelites' ox or sheep straying, do not ignore it, but be sure to take it back to its owner. If they do not live near you, or if you do not know who owns it, take it home with you and keep it until they come looking for it. Then give it back. Do the same if you find their donkey or cloak or anything else that they have lost. Do not ignore it. If you see your fellow Israelites' donkey or ox fallen on the road, do not ignore it. Help the owner get it to its feet. A woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear woman's clothing. For the Lord your God detests anyone who does this. If you come across a bird's nest beside the road, either in a tree or on the ground, and the mother sitting on the young or on the eggs, do not take the mother with the young. You may take the young, but be sure to let the mother go, so that it may go well with you and you may have a long life. When you build a new house, make a parapet. And a parapet is like a fence, and we'll talk about this in the notes, but just so you know, parapet, fence for the roof. Make a parapet around your roof so that you may not bring the guilt of bloodshed on your house if someone falls from the roof. Do not plant two kinds of seed in your vineyard. If you do, not only the crops you plant, but also the fruit of the vineyard will be defiled. Do not plow with an ox and a donkey yoked together. Do not wear clothes of wool and linen woven together. Make tassels on the four corners of the cloak you wear. And that's the end for that part. Now we have marriage violations. If a man takes a wife and, after sleeping with her, dislikes her and slanders her and gives her a bad name, saying, I married this woman, but when I approached her, I did not find proof of her virginity. I don't know why I did it weird, but basically that's what a guy may say. Then the young woman's father and mother shall bring to the town elders at the gate proof that she was a virgin. Her father will say to the elders, I gave my daughter in marriage to this man, but he dislikes her. Now he has slandered her and said, I did not find your daughter to be a virgin, but here is the proof of my daughter's virginity. Then her parents shall display the cloth before the elders of the town, and the elders shall take the man and punish him. They shall fine him 100 shekels of silver and give them to the young woman's father, because this man has given an Israelite virgin a bad name. She shall continue to be his wife. He must not divorce her as long as he lives. If, however, the charge is true and no proof of the young woman's virginity can be found, she shall be brought to the door of her father's house, and there the men of her town shall stone her to death. She has done an outrageous thing in Israel by being promiscuous while still in her father's house. You must purge the evil from among you. If a man is found sleeping with another man's wife, both the man who slept with her and the woman must die. You must purge the evil from Israel. If a man happens to meet in a town a virgin pledged to be married, and he sleeps with her, you shall take both of them to the gate of that town and stone them to death. The young woman, because she was in a town and did not scream for help, and the man, because he violated another man's wife. You must purge the evil from among you. But if out in the country a man happens to meet a young woman pledged to be married and rapes her, only the man who has done this shall die. Do nothing to the woman. She has committed no sin deserving death. This case is like that of someone who attacks and murders a neighbor. For the man found the young woman out in the country, and though the betrothed woman screamed, there was no one to rescue her. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives. A man is not to marry his father's wife. He must not dishonor his father's bed. And that's the end of chapter 22 of Deuteronomy. Now for the notes. First up, we have verse 1 to verse 4 of Deuteronomy of chapter 22. Not 21. And that's like basically, if you find something that is like a loss, or like you just find something that needs to be returned, basically go and return it and help those that need help too. It says the Israelites were to care for lost animals or possessions and return them to the rightful owners. The way of the world, by contrast, is finders keepers, losers weepers. We, too, should go beyond the finders keepers rule by protecting and returning the property of others. This will help keep us from being envious and greedy. Yes. Next is verse 5, and that is, a woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear woman's clothing, for the Lord your God detests anyone who does this. This is going to get real into the deep end here. So just be mindful, be open-minded, just trust in the Lord, That's what we're here for. This verse is not concerned with clothing styles, but with people determining their own sexual identities. It is not clothing or personal style that offends God, but rather the use of one's appearance to act out or take on a sexual identity different from the one biologically assigned by God at birth. In His wisdom, God intentionally made each individual uniquely either male or female. When men or women claim to be able to choose their own sexual identity, they are making a statement that God did not know what He was doing when He created them. So yes, if you do something, like if you try to change something that the Lord gave you, then clearly, you're made from God's image of you. Like, if you change something about yourself, you don't trust the Lord. You don't have that faith in Him, like He knows what He's doing. So just be mindful, okay? Just be mindful. All right, next up is verse 8 to 11, and that is all like the weird-ish rules, like making the parapet on the roof, not planting the seeds, don't plow with an ox and a donkey, don't wear different kinds of clothes, and then the tassels. Well, I guess not the tassels, because that's verse 12, but yes. It says, these are practical laws, helpful for establishing good habits for everyday living. Since people use their flat roofs as porches, a railing, parapet, was a wise safety precaution. If you plant two different crops side by side, one of them will not survive, since the stronger, taller one will block the sunlight and take most of the vital nutrients from the soil. An ox and a donkey, due to differences in strength and size, cannot pull a plow evenly. Two different kinds of thread wear unevenly and wash differently. Combining them reduces the life of a garment. Don't think of God's laws as arbitrary restrictions. Look for the reasons behind the laws. They were made not just to teach or restrict, but also to help and protect God's people. So yes, trust God, because He knows why He's giving these laws out. There's some reason behind it, So just trust and just kind of follow what He says. Or not even kind of, just follow what He says, All right, last part of the notes. And we have verse 13 to 30. And that's all the stuff about marriage violations. It says, why did God include so many laws about sexual sins? Instructions about sexual behavior would have been vital for 3 million people on a 40-year camping trip. But they would be equally important when the people entered the promised land and settled down as a nation. In Colossians chapter 3, verse 5 to 7, and also elsewhere. That's what it says, and elsewhere. And elsewhere, Paul recognizes the importance of strong rules about sex for believers because sexual sins have the power to disrupt and destroy people, and thus the church. Sins involving sex are not innocent dabblings and forbidden pleasures. Ooh, yay! As they are so often portrayed to be, but powerful destroyers of relationships. They confuse and tear down the climate of respect, trust, and credibility, so essential for solid marriages and secure children. So yes, that's the end now for chapter 23 in its notes, and the end for chapter 22, or 23. 22 in its notes, and 21 in its notes. Tomorrow will be chapter 23 for sure. Maybe 24 and 25. It's maybe just chapter 23. We'll see how things work out. But yes, And that's all I have for you. Yeah. So tomorrow will be a little weird, but don't mind it. But yeah. Have a great day.